They gotta give you 30 days for reading.
They're supposed to.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know they do it back to back though.
Yeah. They do everything in here back to back.
They blowing through them little tests, ain't they?
They don't care. They got bags full of motherfuckers.
Say right, like.
I know my name went on that list. He didn't even look at the computer. He just seen me and told me, I need to pay that.
You want to search.
But you gotta look. He was a CO in Mansfield. And
Oh, dude out there?
yeah, listen, him and his son was COs and shit, but he was an asshole CO, like, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers paid somebody over there to squirt some shit and piss on him. So he at the desk, right? Motherfucker come to the desk with 2 bottles of mayonnaise and a ketchup bottle, squirt him and his son. The dude take off running up to the cell and shit. This motherfucker get up to go chase him. Motherfucker tripping. You know how the inside of mantua pies look?
Right,
over there? He hit his head on the weight machine, go into a seizure. They had a life flight. That's why he can't go back.
Oh,
They
wow.
don't let him go back because he had that seizure after he fell.
Jeez, that's everything.
And you still an asshole. Like you literally, your life was on the line for how you act. Like, but you couldn't wait to be here. He woke me up one day, had that banner, the whole CO uniform on. And, you know, I flashed back like that. I'm like, man, hold on. Like, he woke me, like, he's in my locker. And I wake up and I just see him and I instantly thought I was back in the field. Like, you know what I'm saying? I only been out that bitch 30.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
It's in the handbook. They not allowed to wake you up for a pat down or a piss, or they can't go on your shit while you sleep.
I'm telling you, that's what he was doing. That's why he didn't stop that shit. Because I told him, I'm like, man, he can't be wearing that hat and that sweater no more, man. Like, I feel like I'm in the field. Like,
so why you think he liked the way that he is?
Because he think he can get it off over here.
he
Power control.
Yeah,
Power control, right? So you think it's a power control. So you think that, you know, he looks at it as, man, you know what, I'm going to make y'all feel less than, man. You know, this is an opportunity, you know, to feed myself, you know. Is that what you think it is?
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
Gonna be shit, so he has to try to make himself feel better on other people.
So that's what you think it is, right? So now once we start to look at this parenting piece and look at the development of an actual individual, understanding that we all come into this world as a blank board and we don't know how to be, we get taught how to be by the way that we are interacted with by our parents, man. How do you think that his parents interacted with him? Just trying to get an understanding of how did he get to where he was at. Right, where he at right now, like to have that type of mind that he has to say, man, you know what, I'm gonna use my power to oppress people. I'm not going to use my power to be able to free people, right? I'm going to use my power to squash you, right? Why do you think that he is like that, having an understanding of individuals, right? Because we all are the way that we are because of the environments that we came up in, right?
He probably got bullied.
This is next level, man. So it goes past the bullying inside of the school. Let's look at inside of that household. Did he get bullied inside of his household?
Yeah.
Probably
Hey,
so.
I don't know what happened, but he grabbed me today like I was some chick on Cops or something, man. He grabbed me, he was all up under my little shit, like I felt awkward, like like when he squeezed my dick, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt weird, like, man, for real, I'm serious. This morning he patted me down, he was like cut my joints. I'm like, man, like I was like, hold on, bro. Like he's like, oh, you're done.
Right.
Like, no, you done, man. You got what you wanted now.
Right, no, you're done. This ain't no, you're done. I'm done. No, you're done. Evidently, like, but let's look at it a little bit deeper, brothers, and get an understanding. See, this is why this parenting piece is so critical. I mean, this gives me the ability to be able to understand where people are, and then once I start to understand where people are, then that's what makes me less critical of them, because I say, man, hey, they was raised, they was developed to be like this, so then they don't have no choice because their minds is set up that way. So when we go back.
Shut that door, because them dudes out there.
They got COVID,
They got COVID out there.
Oh,
down the hallway. Yeah, down the hallway. They got like three rooms down.
Right,
like 3 rooms down.
I seen them in there. Yeah, I seen them in there. When they was looking for the rooms to put us in, they opened that room and I seen them. I say they running out of space in this puppy. I'm like, they got the people in just rooms. Like, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I'm like, man, this stuff is crazy, man. Like this stuff ain't no joke, man.
COVID
Like
concentration.
that stuff is crazy, man. Yeah, I seen them. They was ducked off in there.
And then why they got them all in the same room if they got COVID? That's not quarantine.
Right.
They're supposed to be by themselves.
But brothers, yeah. So let's go back. Let's go back.
He's trying to record the plant, right?
Oh, I thought you was trying to put it.
Oh, use that.
He's trying to record it.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, so but brothers, but let's think about this, because this is why I say, and this is what helps us to be able to understand, man, how great our responsibility is with our children, because the way that their mind is going to be contingent about the way that we develop it. So when we look at that brother that we say is, abuses his power, what do you think that his parents did with him when he was a child? Abuse their power, right? So do you think that he probably was raised up in a household where they say, man, shut up, you do what I say, you better not say a word, I ain't telling you why it's done, I'm gonna tell you what to do, period, and they squashed him, right? So now when he grows up as an adult, what type of mind do you think that he's going to have? What do they say? They say abuse people, right? That's what happens, right? So now when you start to understand, man, the importance of this parenting piece, it make us go at it in a whole different way. Because if we don't, man, then our children can grow up and become adults that is similar to that. And if our children are adults who don't attract people, then what's going to happen with them? They're not going to have relationships, right? Not strong relationships.
Right. And that go with everybody.
Because they're going to be that type of individual that people going to want to stay away from. They're going to be like, man, I'm not trying to rock with you, man, because of the way that you are. Opportunity come through relationships, right? Like, it's not about what you know a lot of times, but it's about
who you know.
Who you know, right? Who you know can get you into doors that what you got just can't get you into. So you can have all of this money in the world, but if you don't know the right people, you can't spend that money.
Correct.
You gotta know some people, right? Because people will be like, man, I'm making millions and millions of dollars, man, I want to own a TV station. But because they're not connected with the right people, they cannot spend their money to buy a TV station because they're not connected with the right people. I want to own a football team. They're not connected with the right people to be able to own a football team. Your money cannot get you in there. The only thing that's going to be able to get you into ownership of an NFL franchise is knowing the right people, relationships. And if you are not that type of individual that's going to attract strong, positive relationships, then what is going to happen with your opportunities? They're going to be limited, brothers. People will take a liking to you and be like, man, you know what? I just took a liking to you. You know what I'm saying? I just took a liking to you. And they will offer you things that, people who don't get a liking taken to them, they don't get those type of things, right? It'll be opportunities for you that is happening right now and you're not even in the room. People are making a decision on you right now and you ain't even in the room. Because they like, man, I rock with the brother, right? And they saying, man, you know what? And man, this will be something good for the good brother. That's why it's so important to be that right type of character. But the only way that we can be that right type of character is if we get developed to become that. So this is what this whole parenting piece is about. It's about making sure that our children are the characters that we need them to be that's going to warrant success. And how are we going to get that done? We are going to get that done by establishing a strong, positive relationship. Now, we're going to do a little recap on what we talked about yesterday, and that's how we're going to continue to build in each session is do the recap before we enter into the next session. The reason why we do the recap, brothers, is so we can lock it in. It's nothing like repetition, right? So when you continue to go over things, that's what locks it in. When y'all read that book, Prison Without Bars, what do? You read it again. You read it again, and then you talk about it. Then you read it again, then you talk about it some more. And then it starts to get locked into your mind. And that's how you can really control the way that you're thinking, right? So that's what it's all about. So yesterday, we said that we wanted to establish a strong, positive relationship with our children, right? The main reason is for us to be able to transfer the information. We want to make sure that they have the information that we want them to have so that they can do life at a whole nother level. We don't want them to be operating off of information from people who don't have their best interests at heart. Why? Because if they operate off of information from people who don't have their best interests at heart, then they're not going to be in a desirable place, right? Their destination is not going to be desirable because their information is coming from people who don't have their best interests. Have you ever seen anybody who holds on to the wrong way of doing things? Because that's what they were given. So then they have committed to the wrong way of doing things, and then they wonder why their life is not clicking, because they are committed to a way that's not going to produce the type of fruits that they want. It's no way possible. It's just like pouring trash into your mind and expecting you to get jewels. You're not going to get jewels from trash being poured into your mind. If you are operating off of low quality information, brothers, I'm just saying, your life is going to be low quality. You cannot get a high quality life from operating off of low quality information, because your mind is going to be a mind that operates in lower quality. You think on a low level. You focus on the small stuff. You pay a lot of attention on the smaller things and neglect the major things.
Don't sweat the small things. Everything's small.
All of it's small, man. But you neglect the major things, right? You know, like I see people, they focus so much on, you know, the minor, but don't focus on the major. They take all of their time, and time is the most valuable asset because time cannot be duplicated, just like you cannot be duplicated, right? Your left side is different from your right side. All of the fingerprints on your hand are different. Your DNA is restricted to just you. It has not been another you created like you before you. It will not be another you created like you after you. You are a one-on-one. Anything that's a one-on-one has got to be valuable. So time is just like us, which is valuable because you cannot duplicate time. Once it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't matter where that time is ticking at, it's still valuable. Matter of fact, you can go into your pockets and you can pull out your pockets and you can see how much money you got. I could go ahead and call this credit card and see how much money is on my balance. I know what's going on because it's information that I can receive from the companies who operate the credit card. I can go into my bank account and I can see what is my balance, right? I know how much money I have, but it's nowhere on the face of this earth that you can go and say, man, how much time do I got? Meaning that makes it more valuable because you don't know how much of it you got. That means that this can be it right now. This could be the last minute. You don't know if you're going to make it to the next minute or not. If we operate in that way of thinking, brothers, what can that do to the way that we address the now? Now. Do I want to sit up here and waste my last minute on this earth doing something that I don't want to do, being around somebody that I don't want to be, being in places that I don't enjoy, having to tolerate and not celebrate the individual that's in my presence? Do I want to spend my time like that?
You got to unlock that door for him.
Brothers, how serious is that? Like literally, how serious is that? Do I want to spend my time and having to tolerate somebody who is abusing their power because they was abused when they were younger, and that's how I got to experience my time right now on this earth? Do I want to spend my last time on this earth with somebody who is not comfortable with who they are? Brother, this is how we got to start to think. You see what I'm saying? This is how we got to start to think. And this should control the way that we are making our decisions, because we're going to say, man, you know what, I don't want that. And all of us had made the decision to say, man, you know what, I want to be an influential piece in my children's lives, right? That's what I want to do. I want to spend my time on this earth, man, investing my time into my children, into things that I care about. So what are we going to do, fellas? We're going to spend time, or are we going to invest time?
That's time.
Because when you spend, right, you become broke.
Yeah.
Spend is the foundation of consumption. So what I want to do is I want to get a profit. So then that's why we invest time. I want to get a profit from my investments. That's why you invest, so you can get a profit, right? So then that means that with my time, I'm going to invest my time because I'm going to be able to get a profit from the time that I have invested. Does that make sense, brothers?
Yeah.
That's how we become wealthy. When we make a profit. So that's what we want to do with our time. So that's what we're doing with this class. We are investing our time. When I come here, I'm investing my time into brothers, right? I'm investing my time into y'all because I'm going to make a profit. What is the profit? I'm going to be a better me than I was yesterday, because the more that I continue to teach this stuff, I have no choice but to become better. Brothers, I challenge myself. Every cohort I do, I challenge myself. I starts within in 2011, brothers. It's been running for over 10 years, man. Like, I am employed by myself, brothers. Like, literally, man, I am the president of the Starts Within organization. Do you think that I have to come on the weekend? I can schedule classes on a weekday, a little bit more convenient, right? Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I purposely schedule class on a weekend at 9 o'clock in the morning that causes me to get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock, because I understand that discipline is what's going to take me to the next level. I don't have to get up this early. I do this because I understand that I'm willing to do things that other people are not willing to do, because I want things that other people don't have. So I got to continue to put myself in that position. When I was 19 years old, inside of the joint, I was doing things that other people just were not willing to do. Right? I'm watching TD Jakes on Thursday, man. People wasn't willing to do that, right? I stopped cussing inside of the penitentiary. People were not willing to do that, right? I made sure that I sent candy home from the commissary. People were not willing to do that, right? I wrote a letter to my son once a week, every week for the whole entire 10 years. People were not willing to do that. I made sure that I stayed out of the different groups and things like that, because I didn't want to bang somebody upside the head and have to go to the hole. I was doing things that other people were not willing to do, right? That's how I didn't go to the hole my whole entire 10 years inside of Marion Correctional Institution. I went, but I never did get convicted of it. I appealed that puppy and they found me not guilty. So I did do whole time, so I know what it's hitting for, right? But I didn't get convicted of the whole shot. But I made sure that I went to My Child and I Day twice a year. And the only way that you can go to My Child and I Day, brothers, is if you don't get put in the hole, if you don't get convicted of a RIB ticket, right? So I said, man, cool. If that's what it is, then that's what I'm going to do. The My Child and I Day, they allowed your children to come in, and y'all was able to go out on a yard, and they had haystacks, they had COSI coming in there with the animals and everything else. So I said, man, you know what? They allowed you to make your own cake. Every family had their own individual cakes, right? So I said, man, this is a beautiful thing. You was able to design your cake. So I said, man, every year my son was able to come to My Child and I Day twice a year, because I made the decisions inside of the penitentiary to not get incarcerated with inside of the penitentiary. Yeah. Willing to do the things that other people just were not willing to do. People were not willing to separate from that philosophy that got them incarcerated, because they were afraid of how they might look, right? So then they said, I got to continue to put on like I don't care, even though they do care, right? But I was willing to let people know that I care. It matters to me where I'm at in life. It matters to me that I'm not there with my child. It matters to me, and I'm going to act like it matters to me, right? I understand that it matters to me because when that judge said 10 years, it hit me a certain type of way. It became real to me. I know that when I was out there on the streets, I said I don't give a F, but now I'm starting to realize that I actually do give a F. And because I realize that I do give a F, I'm going to act like it. That's just what it is, brothers. People be like, man, I don't care, man. I don't care what happened, man. You know, like, yes, you do. I've seen people scream when them bullets hit and go inside of their flesh. They care. You don't care until that bullet go inside you. And then,
That shit most definitely hurt.
Don't do it again. But brother, I thought you didn't care. I thought it didn't matter.
I got shot when I was 19. That shit most definitely hurt. That shit feel like you're on fire.
Oh, do what you want to do to me. I don't care, man. I don't think I care about any of that. Brother, yeah, I hear you.
And the crazy thing is about a gun, it feels just like how them bitches sound. On every inch, it feels just how that motherfucker sound. I ain't gonna lie, I was out there selling my little drugs and shit. 19, thinking I was cool, hanging with older cats. Little young nigga too, like 16, 17. Like, man, you can't be selling drugs over here, da 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 da. I said, man, you better get the fuck out of my face. I'm gonna get money wherever I'm at. And I'm on the west side. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. Man, he left, came back. I hear boom, 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 boom. I almost, what the fuck? Get the runner, I get hit in my back and faint. This old lady called the ambulance and everything. Man, that shit hurted so bad.
That's
that
crazy,
shit hurted so bad. I will never forget that day. That shit made me change my whole ways of thinking. Like, man,
that's
like
what you do.
Just like
no doubt.
Just from a word of mouth.
Right. And if you don't want it to, then why do we act like it, right? Why do we say, man, you know what, man, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Let's go ahead and rock it out, man. Let's get in the middle of the street and get to it, man. No, like, I don't want your blood to spill. I don't want my blood to spill, and I'm going to act like it, you know? So I'm going to attempt to resolve the conflict. How?
Talking it out.
Talking it out. Brothers, I'm going to figure out a way to resolve the conflict, but I don't want to have to resolve the conflict by us. Like, the only way that I should engage in physical activity is if somebody's trying to physically harm me, and I got to prevent them from physically harming me, because you ain't about to just rock me like that, right? Like, we about to get to it. I'm going to break you down, right? But it's like, but all the way up until it, I realized that a lot of times you could just go ahead and just let people know, like, oh, yeah, no, you got it, man. No doubt, man. My bad, man. You know, and people will take that opportunity and move on, right? Because they feel like that they won. And as long as they feel like that they won, it doesn't mean that they won, right? Like, you know better. So it's not about what they feel, it's about what you know. So people can feel like they won all day long, but I know I'm winning, and that's the difference, because I'm controlling my situation. You not controlling my situation, I'm controlling my situation. You coming to me rah, 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 but I'm coming to you like, no, brother, just chill out, man. This is what it's about, man. No doubt, man. You got it, man. No doubt, man. Okay. And brothers be like, yeah. And I'll be like, no doubt, right? Now let's go ahead and continue to move on, right? Because I'm going to continue to move on towards my mission.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying, brother? This is the level of thinking that we got to be on in order to be able to obtain that victory that we're looking for, in order to be able to overcome this type of situation, to be able to overcome felonies and things like that. You got to be on this level of thinking, brothers. I kid you not. If you're not there, brother, you cannot overcome felonies in prison in this system. This system is a beast. Brother, why do you think brothers get released and come back in all the time, brother? It's set up that way. And you don't just in there just by like one big step. It's small steps that we take, and we find ourselves in the middle of the desert. If it was one big step, then brother, you'd be like, man, hold up, man. Boom, you got there, and I was like, man, I'm about to go ahead and shift. No, you just continuously do the small things over and over again. whether they be negative or positive, whatever they are will determine where you're going to be at in life. So you can do the small things over and over again, and you're going to be in a bad place. You can do the positive things over and over again, and you're going to be in a good place. I'm going to give you an example. Say I just go to McDonald's or whatever, and I'll go ahead and I say, man, you know what? Hey, I'm just going to, throw away the penny that they give me from my change. I give them $1, it costs 99 cents for my coffee, and I just throw away the penny, right? It's small. We look at it as small, right? Right? It's a penny.
Yeah.
But you can't get $1 without a penny. Right? But not only that, but it's a mindset. So I have, man, conditioned myself to make sure that when I give them my $1 and it's 99 cents, I'm looking like this. And they looking at me like, this brother's wanting his penny back. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to disrespect the penny. Because if I disrespect the penny, then I will soon disrespect the $1. Brothers, I'm telling y'all something here. Dead serious. It's all conditioning. But if I value that penny, then I'm going to value the $1. But if I disrespect that penny, then I'm going to soon be broke. Because I'm going to establish a certain mindset when it comes to money. It's the small things. So when y'all brothers get up, it's the small things, right? When you go ahead and read the book, it's the small things. You just continuously do more and more small things that say, man, this is going to make my life better. And that's how your life become better, right? So yesterday, what did we do? What did we talk about? We talked about what type of father that we wanted to be, because we said that that's where we're going to start at with understanding, man, what type of father that we're going to deliver to our children so we can establish that strong, positive relationship. What was our responsibility, brothers?
So write down the positive and negatives.
Write down the positives and then write down the negatives. That means write down the positive interactions that we had with our parents when we were children, because that's what we are going to duplicate and give to our children. And then we are going to write down the negatives so we can identify the negatives and then resist the negatives and not allow the negative interaction that we had when we were children with our parents to enter into our parenting with our children. So this was the reason for us writing it down. Who wrote it down last night?
I wrote it down. I just got it in my head.
Me too. I only got 3 negatives, though. I know all the negatives and I know all the positives.
Okay.
Because that shit play back in my head like this.
Yeah,
So for next week, brothers, I definitely want y'all to write it down. So it's a reason why I want you to write it down, right?
What is we writing down again?
We writing down the positive interactions that we had with our parents when we were children, right? That produced the positive feelings inside of us, because that's what we are going to duplicate in our parenting. We are going to give our children those same positive interactions. And then we want to go ahead and write down the negative interactions that we had with our parents when we were younger, that produced the negative feelings, that made you feel a certain type of way. Maybe the way that they talked to you, it made you feel a certain type of way. Maybe they tried to dominate you, it made you feel a certain type of way. Those negative things that they did when you were younger that produced the negative feelings.
Chris, don't write that one shit down.
Right.
What you told me one day.
kick his mama
Right. So, brothers, but this is important, though. This is all a part. Look, this is all a part of it, right? This is all a part of it, because we get into a certain place, right? And this is how we go. Brothers, man, we got to be aggressive with our parenting.
That's aggressive, meaning that in a good way, right?
I mean, you gotta be aggressive. Aggressive is aggressive, meaning that I'm so serious, man. It's an aggressive move, right? Aggressive. I'm aggressive with my parenting, right? I'm aggressive with the development of my children, right? Because if I'm not aggressive, then somebody else is going to be more aggressive than me. And if they are more aggressive than me, then they are going to win. And that means that my children are going to become what that person wants them to be. And what that person wants them to be could be food on the table. And I don't want my children to be nobody's food on the table. I want them to take seats at the table, because that's where I sit, is at the table. I eat, brothers. I don't get ate.
For sure.
So I want my children to mirror that. So then that's why I gotta be aggressive with my parenting, brother. I gotta be aggressive with the type of individual that I'm delivering to my children. So that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about aggressive, it's saying, man, you know what? It's no time for games. I'm so serious about it that nothing can stop me from getting done what I need to get done. I'm that serious about it because they matter that much to me. It's not a game. I'm not just saying that they are my children and I just wanted to look nice. Like, no, I got a commitment inside of me. When I'm working with individuals out there here in the society, it's because of my children. Why? Because your children can interact with my children, and I want your children to have a conversation with my children instead of a confrontation because they've been raised the right way. So I'm going to make sure that you brothers got it the way that y'all need to have it. So when you are raising your children, they're going to raise up to be solid individuals as adults. And when they possibly come in contact with my children in the same world that they both exist in, it's going to be a conversation and not a confrontation. Brothers, I don't want your children to grow up and become adults and be the ones that come up in the store and shoot up the place. And my children as adults are in that same store and then they get shot up, brothers. So this is the work that I'm putting in for my children, is to make sure that I build with brothers. I got an understanding, so I make sure that brothers have the understanding that I got that has helped me to be able to overcome the 10 years in prison, that helped me to be able to stay at home for 14 years, that has helped me to be able to establish relationships with people in high places, to have access to places that people don't have access to. That's why I do what I do, brothers. That's why I can get up on a Saturday, on a Sunday. That's why I can get up, because, brothers, I'm mission driven. I fight to get inside of here. That means that all this stuff can be going on. Do you think that that shakes me at all, brothers? COVID, man, who cares? I don't care what's going on, brothers. I'm on a mission. I'm inside of the penitentiary. They like, man, brother, how you coming inside of the penitentiary? Ain't nobody coming inside of here right now during these times, brother. It's like I don't even be paying that stuff no attention, brother. I be on a whole nother level. Like, I be so mission driven. Like, man, I'm trying to make this world be the place that I desire it to be. And the only way that I can make this world the place that I desire it to be is if the people become the people that they shall be. That means that you start to separate from the person that you have been, that was created from your environment, that put you in the wrong place, because I was created by that same environment.
For sure.
So this is how we get it done, brothers. So when we talking about, man, understanding what type of father do we want to deliver to our children, we look at the positive, right? We duplicate the positive. Brothers, tell me some positives that y'all want to duplicate as a father right now that you're going to deliver to your children.
Being able to support for my kids, how my parents was.
You say okay. Now tell me exactly what it is. And this is about being specific.
Like, all right, growing up at like every Christmas, my dad used to like buy us dirt bikes, little motorcycles. I know it's materialistic stuff, but
no, that's good. Everything is good.
Always getting clothes and shoes we wanted, stuff like that.
You say
clothes, shoes, little mini motorcycles, and being able to go kick it. Like, we always went on trips and stuff. Atlanta, Georgia, Canada, New York, South Carolina, Texas, Arizona.
Okay, good. So let's break it down. Because one thing that I want us to look at, and this is something that they use in business, brothers, it's called SMART goals. SMART, SMART goals, right? It means specific, measurable, attainable.
I did this for business classes.
Huh?
I said I always name them. I did this for business class. When I did door-to-door sales, we used to do this all the time.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is realistic, right? And timely. right? So SMART goals is specific, meaning that the goal that I have is going to be specific. It's saying exactly what that goal is. So when I'm saying, man, what type of father that I want to be, what is my goal as a father, right? What do I want to deliver to my children? Let's be specific. Now let's break it down and say, man, you know what? I want to make sure that, man, within this next, I want to make sure that I take my children to Orlando. I want to make sure that I take them to, because I liked Orlando when I was younger. I want to take them to Atlanta. I liked Atlanta, right? Like starting to be specific about what you're going to do with your son before he is even here. Right? So once you start to be specific, guess what? It increases the likelihood of you accomplishing because you know exactly what you are going to do. I don't want to hear like, we just going to go on vacation. Nuh-uh. Let's start to be specific, right? So we know where we are going when we are doing it, right? So we understand what it is that we are going to do. Specific. This is what takes the thought. What exactly are you going to do? So when we say, man, I'm going to support my children, what does that look like? What exactly are you going to do that's going to look like support?
Showing my son how to treat a woman, take care of the household, fend for himself, and be a man how he need to be to succeed in this world.
How are you going to show him how to treat a woman?
Be an example.
I treat his mama good.
Yeah, don't put my hands on his mother. Don't cuss in front of him, in front of his mother. Just showing him how, lead by example.
That's good. So, okay, so good. So you saying, man, you're going to this is how you're going to show him how to treat a woman is by, man, interacting with his mother with kindness and love, right? So you're going to make sure that he sees that out of you, right? Good. That's good.
That's what I seen my dad do with my mom. My mom has been married for 24 years. I've never seen my dad put his hands on her. I mean, they argue and stuff, of course. But I ain't never heard her call out her name, put his hands on her, none of that shit.
And that made you feel good when you seen that from your dad in the way that he treated your mom, right?
Yeah.
Good. That's important. I'm glad you said that because all three of my children, they look at me a certain type of way when I treat their mothers with that type of respect. It's like they like, man, your dad, man, like, man, go ahead, you hooking mom up. And they love that stuff because mom means so much to them, right? So when I treat their mothers with that level of respect, they love that stuff. So you saying that when you was a child, you loved the way that your father interacted with your mother. And because you love that, you are going to duplicate that as a father now with your child's mother. So then they can feel that same type of feeling. You see what I'm saying, brothers? You see what we doing here? We are establishing what we are going to do as a father so we can get it done. That's us putting our mind into it. Because if you don't think about it, when something challenges you of getting it done, then you might sacrifice that. You might say, man, she just cussed me out or she just called me a name. And you might go ahead and go all the way in on her. Right. Because you're not thinking about what type of father that you want to be. So then that's why it's important to be specific, exactly saying what it is that you want to do, right? What's something else? What's some more goals that y'all brothers got? Ace, what I seen that you had wrote some stuff down.
Oh, mine is my mom used to bring food up to the school in Eastwood, and Hank bringing cakes. You know what I'm saying? For my birthday when I was younger and shit, he used to bring them cakes up to the school and shit.
This is good stuff, man.
All the super design cakes he used to make, and shit, going on trips, you know, driving here from California every year before we moved down here. Going fishing with Hank. You know what I mean?
There we go. There we go.
Always being there to pick me up when I needed him.
So good. So now, one of the things I know for sure, so now with Lil Ace, you're going to make sure that y'all going to go fishing. Like, we just going to go ahead and go fishing. Because you liked it when Hank used to fish with you. So you're going to ensure that Lil Ace, now that you done got done doing your bid, you're going to make sure that you're going to set up a weekend that y'all go out to Lake Erie and catch some of that fish, right?
Sure. You know,
And that's
I was like that before I went down with Ace.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Your son.
Like 14 now.
Okay.
And this is good. So now, this is what it's going to do. Because this is something else too, brothers. When we write it down and we really focus on that stuff, now we do it more frequently, right? So it be positive, and we are automatically going to probably do that positive, but we might do it here and there. But when you start to like intentionally be focused on that, now you start to do it more frequently, right? Now you start to say, man, every week I'm going to go out and do the fishing, right? So sometimes when you're not really focused on it, you might just be walking around and be like, hey, I might as well go ahead and go fishing today with my son, you know? And that might be here and there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, my thing was I'll get the poles and we go walk to the reservoir, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Take the back way there. And
Absolutely.
like we did when we was little, you know what I'm saying? So
that's good stuff, man.
that.
So that's the only thing that we are doing. Everything about this parenting class, brothers, only thing that we are doing, we are raising the level of our consciousness as far as this fatherhood is concerned. We are saying, man, I'm becoming so conscious as a father. What type of father that I'm giving my children, right? And I'm so focused on that. So that's what it's about. So what's another positives, brother?
Always make sure there's food.
Okay. So you always was.
Always something there.
It was.
It had to be.
That stuff is good, brothers, because I know I came up in a place, man, it was rice cakes, and I tried them puppies.
Man,
Them
what
puppies
you
wouldn't
make
get
bread,
no
butter, and
nothing.
sugar.
Them puppies so plain. I thought they was gonna taste like Rice Krispie treats. Right.
Suck sweat up your mouth.
Going to the food pantry.
So-
getting food. Mom had to do whatever she had to do. That bitch did.
That's good. That's good. So now look at what he said. He says, as a father, he want to make sure that it's always food in the food pantry. You got to be intentional with this stuff, or else you open up your refrigerator and it's just a 40 in there, right? Like, so you got to be intentional with this stuff. You got to say, man, I want my refrigerator to have food in it. I want a food pantry, because that's going to cause you to go to the store and shop as such, right? If you're not intentional, you won't get that done. So because you said that when you was a child, it was good for you to go downstairs and look in the cabinet and it was something for you to go ahead and grab and snack on and eat, then that's why you want to go ahead and duplicate that same experience for your children. Brothers, that's a good idea, and that's good stuff, because that falls in on the negative with me, because it used to not be there for me, man, you know? So it used to be like, y'all get it how y'all live, right? Because our refrigerator didn't work, right? Our freezer worked, our refrigerator didn't work, and our grandmother used to come home and cook dinner after she got off of work. She worked in Cleveland, and she would come home and make dinner at night, but all the way up until then, in the summertime, brothers was hungry than a mug. We was pressed, and we used to go and look in the refrigerator, and it was nothing there, and then we'll go away and we'll look back in there again at a later time. It was still nothing there, and we will go away, come back in there and look again, still nothing there. Nothing never popped up in that refrigerator, right? Even though we had the hope. So then that's a beautiful thing. But now I look at myself and I say, man, you know what? Hey, man, I keep stuff in the house. Why?
Because you was hungry.
Because I didn't like it when I used to come home and was hungry. So I got Hot Pockets and stuff that they could put in the dang on microwave, pizza rolls and things like that, right? I got different things, snacks, and I got the fruit and things like that. This is something that I do with my daughter. I kid you not, a positive, right? Is we eat fruit every single night before we go to bed. It's either grapes or cherries. Why do I do that? Because my father, I used to walk to the laundromat with him, and we would go and get chips and dip. I used to love that stuff, right? Where we would watch Benny Hill at night, and also Sports Center, right? And the Sports Machine, right? We would watch the Sports Machine, and then we would watch Benny Hill at night while we was eating on some chips and dip. I used to love that. Guess what I do with my daughter? I make sure that we have grapes.
Yeah.
And she love that stuff. This is what she tells her mom. It's Daddy Week. We about to eat grapes. It's Daddy Week, because that's what she call it Daddy Week, Mommy Week, right? So, because it's week on, week off, she'd be like, is it Daddy Week? And she's like, it's Daddy Week, daughter, we about to rock and roll. Like, you get the grapes. She already know that we gonna be eating grapes, right? Like, you get the grapes, right? And we be in the bed, right? And she eats the grape, and she be having a couple grapes in her mouth. She'd be like, you eating too fast. We be petted in the mug, man. I'll be like, man, you eating too fast, man. She'd be like, you eating too fast. So she'd be trying to get a couple grapes. I say, man, you know what? I'm about to go for mine. Because you sit up here, you eat more grapes than I'm eating, right? So we going back and forth like that in the bed. This stuff crazy than a mug. My 6-year-old daughter, man. And I'm in competition with her about these grapes. Because at the end of the day, man, like, I like grapes too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, you ain't about to eat up all the grapes, man. You know?
Like the green ones?
The green ones, man, and the puppies be like, they be like kind of crunchy, you know, so it'd be like good. They just like fresh. I'll be like, yeah, you know, and she be on it, but they be good though.
You put yours in the freezer sometimes?
Nuh-uh, I ain't never put them in the freezer.
Man,
what? Put them in the freezer?
Man, what?
You gotta put them in the freezer.
For real?
Yeah, just let them thaw a little bit, but keep them.
Let them freeze just a little bit, and then, man, them motherfuckers.
I never heard of that. That's a good idea. I'm gonna try it out.
Shit, I'm about to go home and try that.
Right, absolutely. But brothers, but I say that to say, look at what I'm doing, right? And that's what I'm talking about, just being conscious about what we are doing. If we are conscious what we are doing with our children, how can that not lead to a positive, strong relationship? It's a reason why my daughter be with her mother and she says, man, and her mother's like a praying mom and things like that, and she'll say, man, hey, and she be like, hey, don't forget about my dad. And Carlos Christian, you know, she'll say my whole name in the prayer, right? Yeah. Because of that positive relationship. She is thinking about me when I'm not even in her presence. If she's thinking about me when I'm not in her presence, brother, she's going to be thinking about the information that I'm going to continue to give to her when I'm not in her presence. So when she's making her decisions around her peers, it's going to be based on the information that she's getting from me. I'm going to have that influence. Why do I have that influence, brothers? Because of the positive relationship. Brothers, this stuff makes sense, man. This stuff, I be feeling like a mad scientist with this stuff, man. Like, she doesn't understand, like, man, why is the relationship so positive? But I know, because I'm coming at it in a certain way. I'm applying the same things that I'm teaching to y'all, brothers. I just apply this stuff, and that's why I come at it with such a level of intensity. Because I know that it works. All of my children are what? Browns fans. My 13-year-old, Browns fans. My 6-year-old daughter, she's a Browns fan. My 24-year-old son is a Browns fan. Now I'm going to ask you, what did the Browns show any one of those three? What have they shown them for them to be Browns fans?
Not a damn thing.
Right. So the reason why they are Browns backers is why.
You can say loyalty. Browns fans is loyal.
Why would they be loyal to the Browns when they have put that sort of product on the field year in and year out? Positive relationship, brothers. Positive relationship. So then I have the influence. So if I can influence them to be a Browns backer, surely I can influence them to be successful in life. All things are possible. Because it's sometimes I've been looking at the Browns and my son, he's 13 years old, and after, the Baltimore Ravens kicker that kicked the field goal at the end of the game, this brother will be sitting there and you can tell he about to start crying because the way that he's shifting back and forth, and I'm like, but I've been through it because I know what happened, so I'm built for this, but he isn't built for that. He like, and I'm like, and he's trying not to lock eye contact with me, and I'm saying this brother about to cry, right? Like, because he's really wanting us to win, and then I'm like, man, this brother about to cry, and I'm starting to ask myself, like, man, what type of father am I? I'm giving him this stuff, like, in real time. Like, I start questioning myself as a father. Like, I'm putting him through this stuff, like in real time.
Yeah, why would I
Like,
do this?
I already know what the Browns been hitting for all of these years. I've been with them since the 80s, man. But I was with them because of my father. And I'm going to give them that, right? But that's what it's all about. And people be like, man, but that's because of the positive relationship, brothers. You see some children.
And you go to them games though. That's a difference too. They not just watching that and being like this is not. They actually showing up at them games with you.
Absolutely right. And really
That's how they build that connection too. Like,
no doubt.
That's dedication. They see that like man.
Absolutely.
My dad love this.
So they like because my dad loved it, I love it too. It's that influence, right?
Sure.
That's what it's about. But that comes from a positive relationship. And I'm gonna tell y'all brothers what it's hitting for, so it'll bring it more into clarity of what y'all see what it looks like. Have y'all ever seen a family who the father is a Browns fan, but the children will be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? The reason why that is
My dad is a Steelers fan, and I'm a Browns fan. So it's backwards. My dad loves the Steelers, and we be beefing.
Look, and I'm telling you, like, and sometimes this stuff is founded on, man, I'm gonna pick the opposite of you because like the way that you make me feel. Right, not only that, but I just want to get underneath your skin, you know, like 'cause that's a negative relationship, you know. It's like, man, I want to get underneath your skin, so I'm gonna pick the team that you are going against. Ohio State fan, I'm gonna be Michigan, you know, because of the way that you make me feel, right? Like it is shown with inside of the household.
Yeah.
I tell people, I say, man, how you gonna be in Ohio and you are anything but a Cleveland Browns fan, right? They be like, what about Cincinnati? I say Cincinnati is Kentucky.
Right.
They ain't Ohio. Like
That damn near is
Right, yeah.
But that's what it's all about, brothers. It's about that positive relationship. And understand this, the reason, the way that we're going to get that positive relationship is because of our focus, because of our consciousness, right? Because we are intentionally trying to form a positive relationship by doing the things that are positive. That's why we reflect on the positive and make sure that we duplicate that with frequency, right? That's why we do that. Because we say if we do what we already know to be right, then our children are going to get the best us. And then that's why we look at that negative and say, I'm going to make sure that they don't get that negative. So then that means that if my father called me a moron, I'm going to make sure that I don't call my children a moron ever. I'm going to make sure that I don't call them out their name ever, because I already understand that when I got called out of my name, it made me feel negatively. So I'm not going to try it with my children and see if they're not going to feel negatively, right? It's a good chance that they're going to feel the same negative feelings that I felt. And if I do the same negative things that were done to me when I was a child with my children, then the relationship is going to be poor. It's going to be weak. And then you'll see them growing up becoming Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Because they resent. It's resentment. See, people think that just because you are that child's father or you are that child's mother, that it's going to automatically warrant their respect. You're going to automatically have the influence because you are that child's mother or you are that child's father. You gotta work for that.
Respect is earned, then.
Or you can get the respect, but they won't like you.
They won't like you. You won't have the influence. They'll respect you because they are in your house and they feel like that you have the power right now, but they will go against everything that you say outside of you. They will not take on your ways because they don't like you. They feel negatively about you, so surely they're not going to take on your ways consciously. They're going to say, I'm going to become. So then that's when you see people be like, I don't know why you became that. I hear parents say that all the time. They try to put the blame on somebody else. I don't know why he is like that, man. No, he is like that because there's no direction coming from you. Because of the relationship ain't strong enough to warrant the direction. So that's why it's important to establish that strong relationship.
Have you come across when you've got an outside influence pushing them in a direction against you?
Brother, I'm glad you said that.
My son says he doesn't want my dad's angry blood because he hurts people.
Right.
And that's not something a 6-year-old comes up with. That's something that a mother and a grandmother and an outside influence says.
Absolutely.
You know what? I went through that. I got 18, 17, 2 15-year-olds, but with the 17 and 15-year-olds, their mom is something else. I ain't gonna go off into that. But I had to fall back and wait for them to get older to where they can see what was really going on.
Right.
And they came to me and we was able to talk once they got older, like kind of like young adults. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I dealt with that too. Until they seen for themselves.
Absolutely.
Their mom was full of shit.
Absolutely.
It was like that.
So now, this is one thing that I want to touch on too, because a lot of times we work on it. That's a part of it, right? Outside influence. But remember what I said, that strong positive relationship will get you the influence. And that's going to take the time. So the more that you are around your children, the more that you are pouring into them, the more that you are strengthening that relationship, the more that outside forces cannot touch it, right? What's the weakest link? The weakest link is on the inside, right? So that means that if we establish a strong relationship, it's nothing that's on the outside that's going to be able to compromise it if it's strong enough. That means that somebody can't come and tell my son about me. Somebody can't come and tell my daughter about me. Neither of my sons can anybody tell them about me. Why? Because I put in the work to establish the relationship. So the mom can sit up there and say, man, your dad ain't nothing. And they're going to be like, hold up, no, you talking about the wrong guy, right? Because I know him. You see what I'm saying? I put in so much work, brothers, that nobody can come against me. I'm just saying, though. And that's not bragging. That's just stating the truth. My children know me. But that's because I'm there like all the time. You know, they have been able to see when they made mistakes and I didn't holler at them. They've been able to see me coming up to the schools. They've been able to see me coming up to the football practices. They've been able to see me showing up all the time. They've been able to see that. My other two children, they've been able to see that. Their whole entire lives, they've been able to see that. My oldest son, he wasn't able to see that, right? Because I was gone for 10 years. But my two children, my youngest, they've been able to see that. But that's because of my focus. And I got 3 children's mothers, brother. Like, so I've been able to still deliver them the father that I want them to have, brother. But that comes with a certain level of commitment, though, right? So they've been able to see me cooking dinner every night, brother. So when I'm cooking dinner every night, they've been able to see me being there at Christmas every year. They've been able to see me at every birthday. They've been able to see me there at school, dropping them off. They've been able to see me picking them up from school. So when I'm doing all of that, brother, who the heck can tell them about me? And they're going to buy it.
Nobody.
I didn't increase my value in their lives so much that the reason why we can be shaken by outside influences is because we haven't increased the value in our children's lives in the way that we needed to. And I'm just being honest. We've been distracted.
We've been gone. Some of us
Right.
have been gone.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. So because we've been gone, but just because we've been gone don't mean that we need to stay gone. That's what we done, but now we can start to do different. And that's why it takes that mind and say, you know what? It was the parent that I was, but this is the parent that I'm about to be. So I wasn't there all of that time, but I'm about to be here all of this time. You see how that stuff makes sense? And now I'm going to start to build from here on forward. So often what happens is that we say, man, I've been gone and the relationship is weak, and you just let it continue to be weak. But what do you do when the relationship is weak, brothers?
Try to strengthen it.
Put in the work to strengthen it. Right? So I used to tell people this all the time, right? So just imagine this, and this is what it takes. Like, and that's why I say this stuff takes it takes everything in you. So just imagine that it's on a weekend or something like that, and somebody is at your door, you know, you sleeping and stuff like that, and somebody do like this. Are you going to get up out the bed and open the door?
Hell no.
If you have to.
No, I'm saying, but if you just hear that one night, like, are you going to open the door?
No.
It's a good chance you're not going to get up. You're going to be like, let them go away, right? You're going to let them go away, right? This is what it takes, brother, with establishing a strong relationship. This is what it takes with overcoming prison. This is what it takes, brother. It takes this. Because so often what we do is we do this. Door ain't open, I'm gone, right? I'm gone. Ain't nobody come to the door. But this is what we got to do to establish a strong relationship, brother. We got to do this. Somebody at your door like this, you come into that door, and they just like this. Is it going to get you to get up? gonna make you do something.
Back door.
You gonna do something. You ain't gonna continue to lay in that bed though, right? No doubt.
That's the
police. Yeah.
No doubt. It's going to make you move, right? So this is how we got to be with that relationship. We got to say, man, I'm not leaving the door until this puppy open. Until I get the results that I want, I'm not going to leave. That means that I'm going to continue to do the positive things that's going to establish a strong positive relationship with my children until it's a strong positive relationship. I'm going to stay at the door until it opens. I'm not leaving. I don't care that it's raining. I don't care that it's sleeting. It doesn't matter. The conditions don't matter. Only thing that matters is what I'm trying to get accomplished. I'm trying to see that door open. But so often, it be the same thing when people get released from prison. They be like, I tried to get a job, ain't nobody hiring me. Let me go back to selling dope. That's how it be. They said, no, let me go back to selling dope. But you know what I said? I said, man, boom. You know how many times they said no? My dude, D-Nut, he was like, man, you know what? He said, man, you look like a professional application filler outer, man. Like, dang. Like, man, I keep on taking you to these employers, and they keep on denying you. But you know what I did? Until one says yes, because I cannot go back to selling dope again. Because if I sell dope again, I might have to bang somebody in the head, because you cannot sell dope and not bang people in the head, because people gonna try it. I'm going to get a job. And then I ended up getting a $6.85 an hour job. But that's because I did not stop pounding on that door until that door opened. People will look at the results that they got, and the reason why they got the results is because they ain't nobody coming to the door. And you hear people shuffling around in the house.
You steady trying to walk off fast.
You hear people shuffling in the house. It's like, oh man, this door will open. So then that's when you got to ask yourself, do you really want the door open? Because if you really want the door open, brother, you ain't leaving. If you really want to stay out the joint, brother, you gonna stay out the joint. If you really want to be a father to your children and have a positive influence with your children, you will be a father to your children and have a positive influence. But it's just about if you really want it. But if you don't really want it, or if you kind of want it, it will show. And it will be so many things that will come at you that will stop you from being able to accomplish it. Because that's just the way that it is. Anything that is of significant value is hard to do. It's challenging. It's not no cakewalk. You got to give up some stuff to be able to get it done. And the problem is that people don't be willing to give up what is required to get it done. Comfortable, brothers.
It's the worst place to be.
Is this stuff making sense, brothers? All right, so let's peel back this next layer, because the Browns is going to be on in a hot second, brothers, and I got to get to the Browns. I'm not even playing, man. You know, I got to draw the line somewhere. And I draw the line. Right, I'll get up on the weekend at 9 o'clock. I'll get up at 7, brothers. I'll come here on a holiday, brothers. I'll do all of that stuff, brother. It could be Christmas. I'll come in, brother. It doesn't matter. But the Browns, I got to draw the line, brother. And I draw the line with the Browns, brother. I'm just letting you know.
Quick question.
Right?
What do you think they're going to do with Baker Mayfield?
I don't know.
They're going to give him his 50.
We need to stay with him. I know
No,
that.
hell no. Get rid
I
of
mean,
that.
if they
That's
can
our
get
quarterback.
someone better,
He's a
do it. But
That's our quarterback.
for the last 20 years, how many winning seasons has a quarterback had that's been a
Right.
Brown? Not named Baker Mayfield. It happened like one time when Brian Hoyer went like 9-7 or some shit.
And Baker is screwed.
But he
And I'm a Browns fan. I'm from the city. I'm from the land.
I mean, if we can
Baker's
get Russell
screwed.
or something, go get him. But
Okay,
Yeah,
brothers.
hard.
Okay, brothers. So let's cover this content, right? So we already got that part, right? We got the part of what type of father that we want to be, how we going to arrive to that conclusion on what type of father that we're going to deliver to our children, right? We got that. So now the next thing that we want to look at is what type of adult do we want our children to become? What is the goals that we have for our children? How many people came up in a household that you knew the goals that your parents had for you? What was the goals?
Like accomplish school, and then my dad wanted me to. He put me in boxing and basketball.
Okay, got you.
yeah, school and sports.
School and sports.
Yeah, graduate high school and go to college.
Okay.
Job. A job.
A job. Okay.
Preacher.
Be a preacher. Okay. School. Okay. And these were the goals that were set in your household. Now I'm going to ask you this, because a lot of people said school, you said boxing, you said be a preacher, right? You said a job, right? And what was the main reasoning for them establishing those goals for you guys?
To better our future.
For y'all to be successful, right? Okay, good. So I want to ask you, if that's the case, would you be successful if you became the boxer and the athlete that he wanted you to be? Would you be successful if you was like Floyd Mayweather, 50-0, and you making all of this money, and you was the best boxer, recognized as the best boxer in the world? Would he be successful if what's inside of him, he really wants to be a veterinarian?
And no, I'm gonna say that's not what he wanted to do.
That's always the
So he's not going. So he's not going to be successful.
I mean, he can be successful, but if you're not happy with it,
I made my parents successful, but I'm not successful.
Veterinarian always the opposite.
Right.
Anything somebody want to do, like, I want to be a veterinarian.
Right. So this is a good thing, though, because if we are establishing the goals for our children, should we establish the goals for our children based on the type of profession that we want them to be? Because if we base it on, I want you to be a preacher, but what's inside of you is for you to be a lawyer, when you become like the next T.D. Jakes or the Joel Osteen or whatever may be the case, but what's inside of you is really to be a lawyer, you will be the best preacher that's in the land, but will you be successful? Because the thing about success, brothers, it is pleasure. Success is pleasure. That means that you experience a level of pleasure when you are feeling some success, right? That's how you know that you are successful, is when you are experiencing pleasure. Success is not dictated by how much money you got, how much cars you have, how big your houses are, right? How many people recognize you as the best. That doesn't determine success. People be thinking that people are successful, but those people are not successful. Why? Because they have became what people say that they should be, but not who they really are. So then that means that when they are that boxer or they are that preacher, but they want to be a lawyer or they want to be a veterinarian, they saying that I'm doing this stuff, but I don't get that pleasure out of it. Everybody's saying I'm the best, but hey, it ain't really clicking for me like that. I wouldn't do this stuff if I wasn't getting paid for it.
I wanted to play basketball.
yes.
If you working doing what you love, it's not work.
Brothers, and this is what I'm saying. So this is what success is, brothers. That's what success is. So we want our children to be successful.
Love turns into work. It becomes less fucking what you want to do.
Brothers, you ain't got to twist me to come in here and speak. I go inside of the prisons. I speak in front of people. You don't have to twist me. You don't have to twist my arm. Like, this is my lane, brothers. I've done this stuff for no money, for free, right? And I've done it with the same, and I still do it, right? For free. People ask me to come here and do this. I still go and do this stuff for free, brothers. You don't have to pay me to do it. The beauty in it is when people actually pay me to do this stuff, the stuff that I would do for free. Like, you don't have to pay me to come in and build with my brothers. This is my time. That's why I go overtime. Do you think I'll be in here looking at my time and be like, oh, I was only supposed to be in here? Brothers, these classes are only supposed to be an hour and a half. But brothers, as long as y'all sit in them chairs, I will still keep on going, man. If it ain't the Browns coming on. But it's like, man, I will still keep on going, brothers. Like, this is what I do. I was supposed to go in and speak at London Correctional Institution for 45 minutes. I was in there for 2 hours because the brothers stayed glued to the tube. And as long as they stayed hungry, it was my responsibility to continue to feed. I could not stop feeding when brothers are hungry, right? Because this is what I do. I'm tapped into something different. And that's why I experience the level of success that I do. That means that on the weekends, I can do this. It doesn't matter. When it's snowing outside and it's level 3 snow emergency, I'm traveling to Indiana to get it done. Why? Because this is what I do. You can't woo me with money with this. Because people have tried, oh my gosh, people have tried to put me in an office and say, just work at the Urban League and take this salary, Carlos. And I said, man, I can't take that salary because it's going to take me away from doing what I do. I need to be inside of the prisons with the brothers. That's where I need to be at. I need to go inside of the facilities. And I'm so sincere about it that you can't shake me from this, right? So when they said, here goes this money, Los, you can just go ahead and kick up your feet in the office setting. I said, man, that's not going to work for me. This is what I do. So I want my children to feel that level of success. You see what I'm saying? That's when life clicks for you. When you are able to do the things that you have been created to do. See, I'm just saying, man, this stuff been put inside of me, brothers. Like, brothers, y'all caught up in a mission. Like, I'm just telling you straight up. Like, this is my assignment. That's why I be like I be. Brother was in Mansfield. Brothers that see me inside of the prisons, coming inside of there. Brothers that see me years ago, and they like, man, are you still doing this? Yeah, this is what you do when you have been put here to do this. It doesn't stop. That means it can be pandemic. That means that it can be lack of funding. That means that it can be this and that. That means it could be all kind of different things that's going on, but you are going to find a way to still get it done. Why? Because this is what you have been put here to do. This is what I have to offer the earth, brothers. And while I'm tapped into it, that gives me a certain quality of life that I want my children to experience. I don't want my children to be no speaker like I am, right? Because I can sit up here and say, man, you know what? Hey, baby Bubba, I want you to be a speaker just like me. Do just like me. Do just like that, right? And he's sitting up there saying, man, dang, Dad, man, I want to be a scientist. And you sitting up here making me be a speaker. And he can be the best speaker he can come because he can watch me do it and he can learn how to do it real well. And he can come and do it and lay it out, right? But inside of him, he's like, man, I want to be a scientist. And I just don't feel like life is clicking for me. And that's how you see people squander higher level positions and people on the outside like, man, how the heck Josh Gordon can't stop getting high? Why is he not, man, honoring the fact that he has this multi-million-dollar contract? The reason why is because he's not doing what he has been put here to do. So then that's why he's willing to sacrifice it. That's why it's not important. Brothers, I'm not willing to sacrifice this stuff. I told my brother, my one blood brother, I said, brother, man, ain't no way. Brother, I can't get on your visiting list, brother. You locked up right now. I'm a contractor. I got to do what I need to do, brother. I can't come in there and see you, brother. I got a mission that I'm committed to, brother.
That nigga don't give a damn. Want to give his phone number out. He like, you ain't calling from no institutional phone.
Brother, I be so doggone serious about this because I'm serious about the mission. Brothers be like, man, Los, man, you think you can go ahead and hook me up with a pen pal, brother? And I turn around on them brothers and be like, brother, what? Pen pal, brother? Do you know I'm caught up in a mission, brother? I'm not out here trying to find you no pen pal, brother. I'm trying to turn the penitentiary on his head and stand the community on his feet in the realest of ways, brothers, and I ain't letting up. So brothers ask me for that type of stuff that can compromise the mission?
It's like an insult.
Because I'm tapped into something different, brothers. That's why I can sweat it out and do what I do. But that's success, right? When you find what you have been put here to do.
Oh, shit.
This stuff, it's just like, I didn't know I was going to do this stuff.
I hate you, man. I've been sitting here trying to crack one back.
But this is what I do. Now, I can't even imagine myself doing anything else different. You can sit up here and say, man, Los, man, I want you to go ahead and start this talk show and be on TV, national TV. This is what I want you to do. And I'm going to be like, is that going to get me inside of the prisons? I told my father, I said, man, look, Pop, I say, man, look, Man, I got access to all of the prisons inside of the state of Ohio, man. Any prison you want to go into, man, you can come in, man. No problem, man. Just let me know. And he says, wow, son, I appreciate that, man. You gonna give me the red carpet inside of the penitentiary. Wow, what an opportunity, right? So to my father, it's not an opportunity to him. It doesn't hit home with him. He like, what you think I want to go inside of the penitentiary for? You think that's where I've been dying to get into, right? He's looking at me like, what, is you crazy? But with me, it's totally different.
I can see how someone.
He did hit me that. He said, oh, wow, son. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the invite. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to that, man. You going to let me come inside of the penitentiary somewhere, huh? Right. Oh, thank you. Right. Like.
I want to go back and see that.
So, brothers, so this is what it is. So that's the idea of success. So we got to understand what success is so we can help our children become it, right? So then that's why we want to focus on what? Not the profession that we want them to be, but we want to focus on what type of character that we want them to be. If we focus on what type of character that we want them to be, then that will warrant them success. So we say our goals for our children, this is where it gets big at, brothers, and we got to lock this stuff in. This is where we starting to get into the parenting piece, the development piece, right? Right? All of the stuff in between be in between, but this is where we got to really lock this stuff in. This addresses solely the parenting, right? All right? This is the concepts that we need to grasp a hold of. So we want to make sure that we develop the type of character. So when we are establishing the goals for our children, we want to base the goals for our children on what? What type of character that we want them to become. So what are the character traits that we want our children to have that will warrant success?
Good posture.
That's a character trait?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Is it? I don't know. Like, you gotta,
Yeah, actually it is.
Actually,
It is? Good posture.
Actually, people do read.
Yeah.
Like when people read
People
people,
read
that
different.
posture is one of the main things that they look at.
Perception.
That you're not sitting slumped up in a chair and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
good. Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
Like
Right.
mannerism and stuff.
Yeah, right. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. So now, remember, once we establish the goals, the next thing is going to be able to accomplish the goals, right? Because we can establish the goals, but then we want to accomplish the goals. What's the use of establishing a goal and you don't accomplish it? You want to be able to see that goal come to fruition, right? You want to be able to say, yes, I made the goal. Just like if you say, man, I want to get to the touchdown, the goal is to get to the touchdown. Guess what? You want to be able to cross that goal line, right? That's the goal, right? So you want to be able to accomplish the goal. So the way that we accomplish the goals, brother, first thing is that we establish the goals. And then the next thing that we do is we be specific. We build on the positive. That means that when we see our children exhibiting the goals that we have established for them, guess what we do? We encourage the behavior. Encouragement means to be specific. It's telling them exactly what they did, how it benefited the situation, how it's going to benefit them in the future. It takes a little bit more time than just saying good boy, good girl. When you say good boy, good girl, that's called praise, right? And they can't lock that into their mind of exactly what it is that they did. But when they know what it is that they did, guess what they are going to do?
Repeat it.
They're going to do it again because why? It offered them a level of feel good coming from their father that they desire. So they like, yeah, I like that. Just like you like when somebody tells you about the right that you doing right. You like, man, yeah, I feel like when somebody tells you about the right in you, you like, man, I like that, you know. But if somebody coming up to you telling you about all of the wrong in you, how do you feel about that person?
Like, damn, why you pointing out all the negative?
Because now you like, man, bro, like you trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Brother, why don't you figure out what's right with me, right? So when we encourage the positive behavior for our children, they will find ways to duplicate that. This is important, brothers, in this parenting piece. So the first thing is what? To establish the goals. The goals is based on what type of character that we want them to be. And we base that on the character traits, right? And I'm gonna give y'all 5 character traits that I have for my children that I believe that every successful adult possess. And this is what I focus my parenting on. This is important. This is the parenting plan. This is good stuff, brothers. So the first goal that I have for my children, the character trait that I believe that they should have.
Communication.
Confidence.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Good posture.
Do you agree?
For sure.
I agree.
What can happen when you lack confidence? What can happen to you out there in the society when you lack confidence?
Start doubting yourself.
You would let somebody take control of you.
Yeah. People can read that.
Right. Aren't you vulnerable? Because then you start to say, man, I'm trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And one thing that I realize is people continue to move the goalposts, right? It's funny how people are, because you can never please people, man. People will say, you do this, you do that, you'll be real. And then you do this and do that, and they say, you got to do this and do that to be real. And then you do this and you do that, and they say, you need to do this and then that, and then you'll be real. So that's why it's so important to have confidence, because now you're not in a vulnerable state to where you're trying to fit in.
Lead, don't follow.
Oh my gosh, man. What happens to the people who are insecure in life? Well, I'm going to tell you, man, because I'm one of the ones that was insecure when I was 13 years old. I was insecure, and that's why I said I got to be overly aggressive. I got to make as much money as I possibly can, because that's going to make me fit in. That's going to make me be accepted. That's why I did the things that I did, because of my insecurities, right? That's why I said that, man, you know what, I got to bang him in the head. I got to bang him in the head, right? Because I said, man, you know what, I'm insecure. So I was covering up. I wasn't confident. And because of my insecurities, where did that lead me to, brothers? It puts you in a place that you don't want to be. And you sit up there and you recognize by the hood and everything, and everybody like, you real, you know. But it really don't hit for much.
No, that's
Hell no.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Does it really hit for much, man?
Because if you die, then ain't nobody gonna be like, oh yeah, your name ain't gonna live on forever like that.
People forget about you. And not only that, but I've seen when people die, man, people start to get their things. They go after their things, right? That's what I've seen, man. My brother died, man, and the person was like, man, you know what? Let me go ahead and get his glasses off of his face before you close the casket, because he had his glasses on in the casket, right? They was gonna bury him with his glasses, and because they Cartier frames, they like, man, let us get them glasses. He don't need them, right? So you see, people, they go after the things that you got. So then that's why I say, why live a life for people?
Right. Live for yourself.
Live for yourself, brothers. It takes that confidence to do that. And the more that you live for yourself, the more of a blessing that you're going to be for other people.
And happier you're gonna
You see, and because you're going to be happier, you're going to be good, right? So I want my children to be confident.
Yeah, for sure.
The next thing the next character trait that I want my children to have,
Good decisions.
I want them to be good decision makers. Do we got to live with our decisions, fellas?
For sure.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
sure has.
Huh? You got to live with your decisions? Well, it's a little twist to that, brothers. You actually don't. You know what you live with?
Your consequences.
The consequences to your decisions, right? Because the decision is made like this, right? But what do you live with years on down the line?
Consequences.
The consequences. That means that you was just trying to go ahead and get off, right, with that little chick that you was messing with, you know, and she crazy than a mug, right? But she was crazy when you got with her. The consequence of you getting off is y'all got a child together, and now you got to deal with the craziness, man. 10, 15 years down the line, right? And you like, man, she crazy. It's like, brother, she was like that when you got with her, man, but you didn't care because you was trying to just get your rocks off, right? So this is the consequence that you got to live with from the decision that you made.
Because thoughts turn
Did it well.
thoughts turn into
Did it
action.
well.
Perfect.
Look, again, look.
Like mine.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened to mine. She
Hey.
wasn't like that.
I love this stuff. I love this stuff. My good brother said she hit it well. My good brother said she wasn't like that. Brother, they are who they are. It's just that you didn't spend enough time. You didn't ask enough questions, right? When you ask enough questions, before you didn't gather enough information. Because once you start to gather the information, look, this is what happens, right? This is what I'm saying. Listen, brother, this is good.
You can't hide this.
You cannot hide yourself but for so long, man, the dark the dark is always gonna come to the light. You cannot like hide, but for so long. But the thing is that people put minimal effort into understanding who the heck they dealing with, right? Because it's not that important. What's more important is that, man, your body look good than a mug, man. Your face cute and everything, man. You know, that's what's more important. Or, man, it's easy access. Or, man, you know what? I can go ahead and spend up all these stamps, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and get steaks. I'm gonna get shrimp and everything else. I'm gonna get, man, the Simply. I'm gonna get the Simply.
Tax season, man.
Tax season, man. I know they about to get 8 racks, man. Tax season, right? So this is the basis of your decision. So when brothers say to me, she hit it well, it's no, you didn't look hard enough. Because if you look hard enough, you will find it, right? So it's just about asking those questions. Just imagine if somebody had that type of conversation with somebody before you even went into any type of intercourse with that person and said, man, ask them all of these questions and seen them in different seasons before you even made the decision to even link up with them, and at least made the decision to go bareback, brother. Like, you barebacked it, right? Like, you could at least put on a condom and say, I'm not about to lay up in it before I get a complete understanding of who the heck I'm dealing with. Because once they start to evolve into the person that they are, and you see them turning their head all the way around in a 360, and you like, dang, what the heck is that, man? You like, you the Exorcist?
I overlooked it because of money.
Now, see, I love questions. Like, once we start to talk about it for real, we start to get to the bottom of it, right? And it start to go back to us. You see what I'm saying? How that stuff work out, right? We start to see ourselves in the mix, right? We start to say, man, it was me, right? And that's the best place that you can be.
You be so fixated on the prize that you're getting from her or whatever that you didn't overlook the little hints, the little subtle hints and everything. Like,
little hints.
Yeah.
But those are going to be the things that's going to give you a level of hell in the future.
Oh, yeah.
You missed the fine print.
Yeah.
You missed the fine print. And the fine print is what's going to produce the hell for you in the future. But whose fault is it that you missed the fine print?
Yourself.
The worst ones is
man, that stuff is beautiful.
The worst ones
man.
is when you with them and it's years down the line and you like, man, you crazy as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how I got like they be when they know it and they be like, you should have thought about that before you got with me. You already knew I was crazy. Like,
right, like you know, like you know.
Was on her,
look,
second one was on me.
But you can even see that. You can even go back and you can be like, man, dang, man, I looked at your dang on family structure, like, dang, your mom was crazy and I seen that, and your grandmother was crazy and I seen that, and I thought that you was gonna be sane. But you was raised by your mother and your grandmother and your father wasn't in your life, so I knew that you was going to be a level of crazy, but you look good, and what I seen in the immediate was what can benefit me in the immediate. I didn't think about how that's going to affect me in the future, right? So I was just living for right now, and now I gotta pay for my living for right now tomorrow. That stuff ain't no joke. And then I see the fathers come to me, like literally, they be coming to me like, no, man, you just don't understand, man, what type of chick she is, man, I can't stand it. It's like, man, hey, man, brother, but you made the decision, brother. Like, who made the decision? You. Like, nobody else made the decision. You made the decision. It starts within, not starts with them.
But you know what,
But,
though?
yeah.
Our parents teach us how to pick and choose and see the inner before we make that choice. Like, when I met my baby's mother, I didn't know how to identify her character. So I had to learn her character.
Right.
And then by the time I invested my time with this girl, we had a baby, and then she get to start flipping. But she had these characters before I met her. I didn't know how to identify it when I met her. But see, that's what we got to do to our kids. We got to teach them how to identify
Absolutely.
Personality and character.
My dad taught me that gab was a gift, man. That's what he gave me. He gave me that
Right.
true, he gave me that true spirit in you. You know what I'm saying? Like that gab is a gift.
What's that?
Gift of gab.
Gift of gab, right, absolutely.
Being able to
Talk.
talk
And then-
somebody out their stuff.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. And then women that talk to you right about your dang on life. Like, man, you gonna be tired with me? I'm gonna get a commitment about you, brother. Take that condom off, man. I wanna feel it, man. Like, go ahead, you like, man, yeah, go ahead. Like, let's get it in. You know, they done talked you right about your dang on seed, brother. And they done went on. Brother's like, man, I done got talked out my seat, man. She's been dragging me through the mud, brother. Like, well, hey, she done talked you right about that puppy, man, and that's fine, man. But the thing about it is, I'm just saying though. But the thing about it is, look, listen, brothers. That's what I say. Is that, and one thing that you said earlier, and it was powerful, it was profound. You said that I wasn't really taught how to identify and pick and make the right decisions, right? Coming up, right? So now you got to experience, you know, some failure that you might not would have had to experience if you would have been raised differently as far as making your decisions, right?
Yeah.
So now, but guess what? But just because you was raised that way, guess what I realized too? You don't got to stay that way. So just because I was raised in a way not to make good decisions doesn't mean that I got to stay in a way to not make good decisions. Because it's so, once you get to a certain age, it doesn't matter how the heck you was raised. I'm just telling you. Like, if you are still in a place that you shouldn't be, you're going to have to say, man,
That's on you.
that's on me now. You can't go ahead and say it's because of them, right? It's because of me, because I continue to neglect to become who I need to be, right? So, but that's important, why we want our children to be good decision makers. So I'm going to ask you, how can I help my children to become good decision makers before we go to the next goal? What's a way you think I can help them become a good decision maker?
Make sure they know what a good and a bad decision is.
How will they know that?
Communication.
What's good and what's bad for you might be not what's good and bad for me. I mean, what is...
That's true too.
Oh, good. Oh, man, bruh, like no doubt. So what's good for me might not be bad for you though, right?
I mean,
Well, I mean, what's good for me might not be good for you.
yeah. I mean, we're all
Right.
different.
Right. So a good decision is based on what?
Person.
On the person. What fits you, what you are willing to accept, what's okay with you, right? Some people might say, man, I'm okay to deal with a woman that's ridiculously crazy. That gives me a certain level of energy. I like that.
I love my crazy ass.
See, look, there we go. So look, so you like, man, I love that stuff. I love, man, coming in the house, man, and stuff is flying, and I get to duck and dodge, right? Like, I love that. Like, you know, you see what I'm saying? But you like, man, you know what? I don't want to come in the house and some stuff, places getting flew at me and stuff like
I can't
that.
stand that woman, but my kids are never gonna know that.
They go to Walmart.
No doubt. And we're going to cover that too in a later session. That's good, though.
I'm telling you, man, I ain't like that shit. I went to Walmart one day. She talking crazy. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm out of here, man. Like, nigga, I went to Walmart, man. Police pulled me down. Like, you just beat your wife up. Like, man, I ain't did nothing. I'm in Walmart trying to get something to eat. Like, man, I just left the situation. Like,
right.
Yeah. And then they show up to court like, he ain't do nothing. I don't know what y'all talking about. Trying to get you out of this shit.
Right.
Like, it's way too late now.
Like, man, you know what? What the heck? But look, but brothers, this is good though. So when we talking about good decisions, what is good decisions, brothers? It's something that puts you in your best place, right? So at the end of the day is when the consequence, because consequence is positive or negative. When the consequence is good for you, you saying, man, that's a good decision. That's the foundation of a good decision, right? A consequence that you are okay with living with, right? So if I'm saying that, man, you know what? I'm about to, right. So it's saying, man, to me, man, I'm going to say, man, you know what? I'm not going to sell dope no more because I want my consequence to be where I have that level of freedom to where I can go where I want to go and do what I want to do, right? That's my consequence. I'm okay with that, right? So then that's a good decision because I'm experiencing a consequence that I'm okay with. You see what I'm saying? So with my children, how do I teach them to be good decision makers? Easy.
Recognize.
No.
Accepting the consequences.
Come on, brothers, y'all got it, man. Just think in the simplest of ways. How can you become a better decision maker?
He said,
Be aware.
Are you a better decision maker today than you were when you was 19 years old?
Experience.
Why?
Experience. You think different. I think for a change.
Why do you think differently?
Because I went through them consequences already.
Brother, so how can I become a better decision maker, brothers?
trial and error.
Making decisions.
By making decisions. So now with my children, what do I want to do? I want to put them in a position to do what? Make decisions. So then they can experience the failure from their decisions. So then they know, like, hold up, the way that I made that decision wasn't a good way of making a decision. Because why? I didn't experience the results that I wanted. That's the best teacher. It's life. So what do I do with my children? I give them the ability to make decisions early. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not asking them and saying, man, hey, daughter, do you want to drive the car at 6 years old? Because that's going to kill her, right? Like, that can possibly kill her. But I do say, and this is, I'm telling y'all, brothers, this is the good part about it, right? So we'll be at the my son's football game, and she want to go to the concession stand. And she'll say, Dad, man, let's go to the concession stand so I can get some candy. And I said, all right, come on, let's go. And we'll go there, and I remember one time she said, Dad, man, I want this, I want these sour Skittles. And I say, daughter, man, you don't be liking them sour Skittles. You don't like the sour, I'm telling you ain't gonna like it. And she says, no, I want that. And I says, daughter, man, if you get that, I'm not getting anything else, right? And she says, I want that. See, it was tempting to say, I know you are going to waste that candy, so I'm not going to buy it because I don't want to spend that $1.50 because you know they be taxing at the concession stand. I don't want to spend that $1.50 for no candy that I know you're not going to eat, right? But again, I'm trying to develop my children to be good decision makers. So I'm going to give them the space to be able to make the decision. You want that sour candy? Okay. You like it because of the coloring of the package? Okay, I'm going to buy it. So I went on ahead and funded her ass to buy the candy. When I bought it and she opened it up, you know what she said? Ugh, this stuff is nasty. And I said, I told you that. She's like, Dad, man, what can we do, man? Can we go get another pack of candy? And I said, daughter, these are the consequences to your decision, right? I'm teaching her early. Look at what happens, right? Look at what happens. That's why it's so beautiful. Remember, they come into this world as a blank board. So I give her the ability to make decisions. I'm not going to make it for her. I'm going to let her make the decisions, right? So she says, man, dang, I don't like it. So she had to go the whole game without no candy. So movie night, we have movie night once a week. Every Thursday, we have movie night, right? We go to Kroger, we get candy, we have the popcorn, and we get a movie out of the red box. We have movie night, me and my children, right? Once a week, I make sure I do that, right? So when we go to the store to get the candy, guess what she says? I like the coloring of that packaging, but Dad, is it sour? No, it ain't sour. Okay. What is it? Is it fruity? She's asking me more questions, right? She's asking me more questions that's going to put her in the best position, that's going to put her in a result that she's okay with, right? You see what I'm saying? So now she has adjusted the way that she has made decisions because she realized that the way that she made a decision at the concession stand didn't offer her her best result. I'm talking about this stuff happens in real time, brothers. I'm dead serious. Like, this stuff happens in real time. So she says, I want that then. Let me get that. And then when she found out that it's good, guess what she did when we went back? I want that again. So now she's making decisions that fit her. So often when we make our decisions, we not really taking us into account. Because if we took us into account, we would know that we don't want to be in these type of situations. If we really did the research on what these type of situations is hitting for, we would make the decisions to be here. But we didn't really do the research on these type of situations. And that's why we made the decisions and we ended up here. So my daughter is becoming a better decision maker. Why? Because she has made bad decisions. So I continue to let her make the decisions. And that goes all the way into what type of shoe you want to wear. She'll be like, man, you know what? Hey, man, I want to wear these green Oshkosh bagages and you got on a purple suit. You know what I say? Her mom be like, man, no, that don't match. But I say, that's her decision. My responsibility is to do what? Make sure that she has shoes on because I don't want her to be stepping on glass and something that she can get injured, right? So my responsibility is just to make sure she has shoes on. I'm not trying to control what color the shoes are. You can pick whichever shoes you want. That's your decision. So she can start to see what decisions look like. Does that make sense, brothers? Yeah. That's how we teach them to be good decision makers. All right, brothers, we moving right along. I want them to have the character trait of being self-regulated. Right. This is important. I want them to be self-regulated individuals. That means that they understand what needs to be done and they get it done. They don't need somebody to come and tell them, man, you got to do this, you got to do this. They already know what needs to be done. I believe the successful individuals are the individuals who know what needs to be done and get that stuff done. Because now, when I give you a job, brother, I know that the job is going to get done. I know that I'm not going to have to come behind you and redo the job. So I'm going to give you more opportunity. Why? Because I know that I can trust you with getting this stuff done. I know that you regulate yourself. And if you regulate yourself, that's going to take you out of the position to be regulated by systems and be regulated by other people. When you are regulated by systems and being regulated by other people, it's going to be costly. You got to pay a price, right? When you leaving yourself to be regulated by systems and other people, it's going to come with a price. So I want my children to be self-regulated. This is a little bit long. Oh, hold on. No, I'm going to break it down like that.
Independent.
Individual.
Individuality.
This is big for me, too. I want them to be the type of character that bring value back to the table. I don't want them to be that type of individual that always come into the table and be like, what you got, what you got, what you got, and looking to take all the time. I want them to replenish. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand the type of individual who come in to take all the time. People start to shy away from that individual, right? Because it's like every time I see this brother, he coming to take.
You burn your bridges.
You burn your bridges. If we all about to eat, right, and you go ahead and kill a pig, you kill a cow, you got the chicken, right, and you good with the cooking, you like the chef of the nation, right? Nobody can cook like you. You went ahead and made the cutlery, right? You good with sanitation, right? And you can go ahead and just what you gonna do? Oh, you can start the fire, right? To go ahead and force the cooking, right? And me and you, we just here.
Yeah,
we like brothers. You done went ahead and killed the pig. You done went ahead and killed the cow. You done got the chicken. You putting together the meal, right? You go ahead and you doing you got the cutlery so we can eat off of. You doing the sanitation, and you go ahead and you started the fire. And me and Chris over here, we just like, man, I'm glad y'all brothers, man, doing what y'all do, man. Good stuff, man. Go ahead and get that stuff done. And we ain't even offering to clean up after either. We like, brothers, go ahead. I'm glad y'all did the stuff that y'all did. Let's eat. How y'all gonna feel about us?
Y'all moochers.
I ain't gonna get no food.
You ain't about to eat.
I ain't gonna eat.
You gonna feel negatively about the good brothers?
Yeah.
Why? Because we ain't bringing no value back to the table.
Yeah.
This stuff is important, brothers.
Granny always said you always want somebody in your life that's equally yoked as you.
Man, brothers, no doubt. And I'm going to tell y'all this, brother. I'm going to share with y'all off. It's on topic, but I want to share this with y'all. Remember I told y'all that my son, 24 years old, they had mold inside of their apartment in Euclid, and the landlord wasn't going to fix it. So then they moved to Columbus, right? They moved to Columbus, and they said, man, you know what, Dad? And he said, Dad, can me, my wife, and my 2 children, can we stay in your house? And I said, okay, right? So I set both of them down, and you know what I said? I said, man, what am I benefiting from y'all coming here?
What y'all bring to the table?
Right. I'm like, man, I want to know. I had them look up a word. You know what word I had them look up? Reciprocity. I said, man, look up the word reciprocity. Reciprocity means, do you give as well as you get? Because people is good with the getting, but how good are you with the giving? Right? People are good with the let me get. But how good are you with the giving? Reciprocity. RECIPROCITY. I'm about to put it on here.
Okay. That looks like a word I can benefit from myself.
This is big, brothers.
But it's not always about, But giving back to the individual would be giving back to some Tom, Dick, or Harry to move them forward, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like reciprocity. But even still, with any relationship, you want that relationship to be founded on. You want it to be founded on reciprocity. Still, though, that means that when I'm in your presence, brother, what am I going to give you back?
Because if you want to ask your child that, he probably would be like, oh yeah, Pops ain't asking for nothing, we probably can stay here for a little long too and get comfortable.
I'm going to tell you what was going on. So I'm glad you said that. And this is my 24-year-old, man. I've raised him and stuff, but it's like you still got to continue to parent these children, even as they are adults, right? So I said, man, bruh, like, because you know why I brought up the word reciprocity, and his wife said, man, you know what? Hey, man, I could go ahead and pay you, we could pay you a couple $100. And I said, man, your money is not going to work with me. Like, my bills is paid. I wasn't going out here looking for somebody to pay my mortgage. I wasn't looking for somebody to pay my utilities or my DirecTV bills or anything like that, my water. That's not going to really be beneficial for me, right? So I said, man, you got to come with something different. What's going to benefit me? And they said, man, well, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I'm glad that you asked. So now that you asking,
maybe cut the grass and shit.
Right. So now this is what I said, because the reason why I was having this conversation, because I went to the gym and I came back in, it was stuff caked all on the table. It was like dishes all in the sink. I'm like, man, how do you look at this stuff and just continue to walk past it? You mean to tell me I got to come in and clean this stuff up? Like, what's the reciprocity? I need some reciprocity. That means that when I'm not in the house, it would be good for you to say, man, you know what, let me go ahead and clean the kitchen so my dad don't have to come home and clean the kitchen. Let me go ahead and clean the table so my dad don't have to see all the stuff caked up on the table from the kids that was playing. Reciprocity. I'm telling them, like, you can stack up your money so you can go ahead and move into your own place, but what are you going to bring to me? How are you going to make it easier on me? How am I going to benefit from the situation? Because if I'm not benefiting from the situation, I'm going to start to feel a certain type of way. And that's how people start to feel that type of resentment towards people, because they are giving more than they are getting.
Right.
Expectations lead to resentment. Resentment leads to hate.
Oh my gosh. So it's just like, man, so that's why I started to, I drew up a contract, brothers. I said, man, let me go ahead and draw up a contract of the things that I'm going to need. And I said, man, you know what? The things that's going to make me feel like I'm benefiting from this situation, what's going to make me feel like I'm benefiting from this situation is, number one, I want y'all to go ahead and clean up the things that y'all see. That means that if you see a spill in the refrigerator, and this stuff that ticked me off, if you see a spill in the refrigerator because you didn't spill the stuff that's in the refrigerator, still clean that stuff up. Take possession of the house like it's your own. Don't treat it like it's just a flop house. Man, if I see a spill in my refrigerator, I'm going to clean it up. Like, this is just right. Like, and I told my son, man, you 24, and the wife is 25. Don't nobody owe y'all nothing. Like, I was just being honest with him, you know, because when you are an adult, you are responsible for your own shelter. So when you have the ability to be able to stay in some place without having to pay any rent or pay for utilities, brother, that's the hookup. So now you want to show that type of appreciation for having the ability to be able to stay here. I don't want you to sit up here and say, man, hey, I didn't spill it. Or when you go out to eat, you're going to go out to eat and you don't even care if anybody else in the household has ate, and y'all out eating at the steakhouse somewhere, and then you come back in with the leftovers from the steakhouse and you haven't even made sure that anybody in the house has eaten.
Yes.
Like, it would be good for you to call and say, hey, you know what? Hey, we out eating.
Y'all want something?
Do you want something? Reciprocity, brothers.
Or before they leave, yeah, y'all want to go out to eat with us? We finna go out to eat.
Reciprocity. You see what I'm saying? These are simple things that we can do that strengthens relationships. So when I'm telling my children, I want them to bring value back to the table.
Can I tell you a story real quick? Me and my girlfriend just dealt with this. Her brother friend, he got put out his mom's house. He 21 years old. So he get a little check every month. So we told him, like, well, you feel me? Like, you ain't got to do nothing, but just make sure you clean up the house. Give us $200 a month. You know what he told us last month? He said, yeah, I'm about to move out of here because I think y'all using me for my money. I said, do you know how much our rent is? I said, we using you for $200.
See what I'm saying?
You don't take out the trash. You don't do the dishes. You don't clean the bathroom when you're done with it. No, we ask you for $200 a month.
Right.
Are you comfortable with this?
Right.
I said, so I'm gonna do you a favor, bro. You gotta get out of my house. He looking at me like I'm the bad guy. What you mean? I said, bro, get your shit and get out of my house. Oh, then he get on Instagram and start talking shit. I said, man, people, their mindsets is so fucked up because they rely on the next person to benefit them. That's so foul.
Bruh, I'm telling you why that is. Look, remember, what did we just understand, brother? This is why this parenting piece is so important, because we get to understand people, right? When we talked about him out there, why is he like that? It's because he was raised like that. Why is that person like that? Why do people expect that you just gonna do for them and they ain't got to bring nothing to the table? The reason why they feel like that is because they've been raised like that, and I'm gonna tell you how. That means that when it was time to make dinner, they was told, just sit on the couch, stay out the way. I'm going to go ahead and provide your dinner, son. I'm gonna provide your dinner, daughter. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to participate. They was allowed to get away with not helping out in the household when they were younger, because if they would have helped out in the household when they were younger, the parents felt like that it was going to take more time. So then they said that I'm not going to allow you to help out. So then that means that when my daughter, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, when my daughter says, man, Dad, can I help you, man, make the chicken? And I know that it's going to be a mess. I know that it's going to take longer. And I say, yeah, you can help out, because I wanted to establish in her mind what it means to help out. I want her to be that type of individual that looks for ways to help out, that looks for ways to bring things to the table. So I take advantage of her desire to want to help out with cooking the chicken, even though it's going to take more time. And when she has the chicken over the bag of flour and she's like trying to be all precise, and I'm like, man, we got like 18 pieces of chicken to do, and you sit up here like slow with it, but I gotta be patient because I understand what I'm trying to get accomplished. And I'm sitting there with the bag, like, go ahead and drop it. Okay, come on, drop it. Like, you know, but I'm going through that time with her. Why? Because I don't want to discourage her from having the desire to help out. So that's how you build on that, right? And then she's going to continue to say, I like the way I feel when I help out. So then when she comes into a place and she's staying with somebody, she's like, man, I can give you $200, but I also can clean the bathroom. I can also take out the trash, because I want to make myself valuable in this situation. Why? Because I've been raised that way.
Right. That man had a problem with walking my dog. I said, you walk the dog for me? Oh,
because the only thing that he always had to take care of is what? Just himself. He never did have to bring nothing to the table. And because he didn't have to bring nothing to the table, and this is the disadvantage that you set your children up for as adults, because people out there are not your parents. And they don't care for you like your parents did. They don't love you like your parents did. And when you don't bring something to the table for people, they like, man, get this brother out the mix. Right? Get this brother out the way. Your parent might overlook it. So I want my children to make sure that they there, right?
Hey, Carlos, you think I can get a recap of that word right there?
Reciprocity?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
It's to what?
To give.
The practice of exchanging things with others.
Mutual benefit.
Mutual benefit.
Yep. There we go. Good, brother. Oh my God. Look at that brother bringing to the table. Right? You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Bring it to the table, brothers. That's beautiful. Brothers, I'm going to tell y'all this too. Look, this is something else too. I'm going to tell y'all this. Because people be like, man, Los, man, you know, like when I come in and do these presentations and stuff like that, people be like, man, yeah, man, like when you feel like you don't have nothing to give, you won't give it. But as long as you know you got something to offer, you will always find something to give, right? You'll say, let me go ahead and sweep up in here so it can be a nice place for us to go ahead and learn in. You see what I'm saying? Like, this brother said, let me go ahead and get that vacuum because I want it to be a nice place for us to learn in. I don't want to have to sit up here and learn in a place like that. Brothers that come in here and say, man, I'm going to give you my attention. It's nothing like attention, brothers, because that causes me to focus on what the heck I'm saying. The more that I do this, the better that I become. I cannot do this if y'all are not paying attention. So when y'all give me your attention, brothers, that benefits me because I become better. It's a win-win situation. That means that you get to learn the content and I get to become better and I get to become more firm in the content that I'm teaching, You see what I'm saying? It's a give situation. I done been in situations where it have been people in class and I'm like, man, brother, like, dang, man, what the heck? Like, you're not bringing nothing to the table. You just want me to do everything. Like, no, brother, I want you to be here, at least give me your attention. Give, reciprocity, bring value back to the table.
I know I heard you.
Right? Bring value. That's how I want my children to be. So the fifth goal that we have for my children, 13, 12, I want them to be the type of individuals that what? Do your best. Because I know that if they are that type of character that do their best, what type of results they're going to get? Failure.
The best result.
You said if they don't do their best.
No, I'm saying if they do their best. If they are the type of individuals that do their best, what type of results will they get?
Success.
They're going to get the best results, right? That's how people be good in life, because they do their best, they get the best results. I'm not talking about giving 70%. I'm talking about giving 120%, right? Like, if you give 120% in everything that you do, guess what? Your life will be phenomenal. But the problem is that we don't give our full effort, and that's why our life don't look like it, right? So I want my children to be that type of character that does their best. So now, how do we get it done, brothers? I'm going to give y'all a couple of stories, and we're going to get out of here so we can get to the Browns, right? So, one thing with my daughter, an example, remember what I said, you got to encourage the behavior. Encouragement means to be specific. This is the parenting piece, one-on-one, right? Opportunity of a lifetime during a lifetime of the opportunity. That means that when I see them doing the positive, I want to encourage the behavior. I want to be specific. I'm developing their mind. I'm showing them a way to think, right? So when my daughter is sitting up there like this and she's coloring on a piece of paper, she's coloring a piece of paper or whatever, and she's staying with this side of the lines, making the picture come out the best that she can, what am I going to say when I see that?
Wow, that looks great.
Be specific. So I'm going to tell her, daughter, and I'm talking about this is exactly what I did. Daughter, man, I see you doing your best. I'm telling her what she did. Remember, encouragement means to tell them exactly what they did, how it benefited the situation, how it's going to benefit them in the future. So now, when I interact with my daughter, when she is coloring that piece of paper, I'm saying, daughter, I see you doing your best. Man, that picture looks phenomenal, right? Man, I'm about to put that puppy on the refrigerator as soon as you get done. You know, all of the pictures don't go on the refrigerator, but this one right here is going on the refrigerator, right? I'm telling her exactly what she's doing, how it's benefiting the situation. That picture looks phenomenal. Because you did your best, that picture looks phenomenal, right? I'm letting her know, and she's understanding that. And then I'm going to tell her how it's going to benefit her in the future. Man, if you do your best, man, you always going to get the best results. And that's how you be successful in life, daughter. Man, good job. You know how she felt when I was talking to her this way? She like this. It's crazy what she did too, because she started to take even a little bit more time. She was like, yeah. It's crazy what you can do to the mind, brothers. It's crazy. I'm talking about this stuff is like science, man. Straight up. And she was like, she taking even more time. And she's like, so now guess what she did after that? She's, Dad, look at this one. She's trying to beat the last one. Look at this one. She's establishing a character trait that I want her to have. This is my goals. So now it doesn't stop there. This is the beauty in it all. So then when I say, daughter, help me go ahead and sweep up the floor while I'm doing the dishes at night. We got to do our chores. Guess how she's sweeping up the floor?
Slowly.
Iron wire, yeah.
Dad, I'm getting everything. Look. Look. What is she doing?
Taking her time to do her best.
She's doing her best. This stuff is intentional, brothers. She's going to do it so much that it's just going to become her.
I can't wait to myself.
And when it becomes her, oh my God, nobody can take anything from her. Because she's going to have it inside of her head. That's the beauty in it all, brothers. Does that make sense?
Hell yeah.
This is parenting. This is me developing my children. It's beautiful when you can sit back and see them exhibiting the character traits that you have established for them in real time.
I used to get jealous because my dad, like, I used to get D's and F's in school. I was bad as fuck. I used to get jealous when my dad would hang my brother report card on the refrigerator and shit. Then he'd go take him shopping, and I'd be like, man, what the fuck? I used to hate that. I used to be jealous of my little brother because he's like a genius. Still to this day, he got straight A's. He graduated from high school at 16.
Wow.
Went to college at 17. So I'm like, man, hold on. I could have been doing that, but I want to be a knucklehead and do all
Right.
that. Man, I used to get so jealous of that little nigga. I'm like, man.
It was just the interactions. And this is why I say, but again, man, look, brothers, I'm telling you, man, when people say parenting classes, people don't take this stuff because people don't understand, like, the seriousness of the parenting. People don't think about this, right? So a lot of our parents didn't even have, which one of our parents went through parenting classes? How many of us would even went through parenting classes if we wouldn't have been in these type of situations, right?
Might have been the joint.
Right, like, but that stuff is crazy. But even if you do go through parenting classes, a lot of times you don't come with this type of information on a really know how to get it done, right? It's something different, right? So now, look, this is the next story, and we're gonna rock out after this, right? So now we talk about my son, right? I had him ever since the second grade. Well, third grade was the first year that he went to school from my house.
That's your oldest, right?
That's my 13-year-old.
Oh,
no, that's not the 24-year-old. That's the 13-year-old. So me and his mom separated in second grade where we got the divorce. He was in the second grade. And then I had ended up moving out east, and then he went to school from my house 5 days of the week, right? So it was just me and him at that time. It was just me and him at the house. My daughter wasn't born yet. It was just me and him. So I remember I used to go in the bathroom, and he had his own bathroom. It was a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathrooms, right? So he had his own bathroom in his bedroom, right? Full bathroom. So I used to go in there in third grade. I used to go ahead and turn on his shower. I used to go ahead and turn on his shower and say, son, go ahead and get in the shower. And he would get dressed and he would get on the bus, right? He would go ahead and get on the bus. But he would wake up on his own, right? He would wake up on his own. That's just how he always been, right? So he would do that, right? So and I remember one day I got up and I got up a little bit late. And when I get up late, I go in the room, this brother playing a video game. And I'm like, bro, like, man, it's 8:10. Like, you got to be on the bus at 8:20. You ain't got in the shower yet? You ain't dressed? And he was like, Dad, you ain't turned on the shower. And I said, man, that's cold-blooded, man. You could have, like, woke me up, man. You know, you seen I had overslept, right? But he was like, man, I ain't get in because you ain't turned on the shower. I said, cool. So what I did is I showed him how to turn on the shower. I said, man, the left knob is the hot water. The right knob is the cold water. You go ahead and turn both of those knobs on, and then you feel the water coming out the sprout, and then once it's to your liking, you pull the lever and it's gonna come out the shower. Boom, the shower is on. You understand that? And he's like, yeah, I got it, Dad. So it was cool. So he got in there, he got in the shower, he got right. I had to take him to school because he had missed the bus, right? So the next day I get up and I'm about to go in there just to make sure that he up or whatever, and this brother already in the shower. Right? So now he already up, he already in the shower, and when I see this, what do I do? He knows what needs to be done and he's getting it done. He knows that the bus comes, at 8:20, right? So then that means that he knows he got to get up and get dressed and take a shower. He knows how to take a shower, so he's already up taking a shower. So when I see that, good, look what I do, brothers. I encourage their behavior. So I come into the bathroom and I say, son, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Remember, being specific, telling them exactly what they did, how it benefited the situation, how it's going to benefit them in the future. And I say, son, man, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Man, you regulating yourself. Man, that's my goal, right? Man, you regulate yourself. Man, you know you got to get up and get ready for school. The bus come at 8:20. Man, you in the shower. You got in there on your own. Man, that's a beautiful thing, man. Now I ain't going to have to worry about taking you to school. How is it benefiting the situation? I can go ahead and do some other things that I need to do this morning because you are regulating yourself. Son, that's a beautiful thing. Man, when you regulate yourself, man, you're going to be in a successful place in life, man, because people are going to be able to trust you with the job that needs to be done, right? This is the conversation. It took about a minute, right, for me to have that conversation. Encouraged. And when I'm saying it, how do you think that he felt, brothers? He like, yeah, I'm regulating myself, man, no doubt. Brothers, I have not had to get my son up or tell him anything about the shower ever since. He's in the 8th grade right now. Do you know how beneficial it is for me where I can just lay in the bed and he's going to go ahead and get himself on the bus. He's going to go ahead and get himself in the shower. He's going to iron his clothes. You know how beneficial it is for me, brothers? Like, this brother is built a certain type of way. And it started from there. And then guess what he did? He just duplicated it again and again because it made him feel good. And when I seen him duplicating it, I said, man, you regulating yourself. That's a beautiful thing, son. And he says, man, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Now it's become him.
Now he can teach his sister the same thing.
Absolutely right. Because I got my goals set. Everything about my parenting is surrounded around my goals. This is my responsibility as a father, brothers. Making sure that they got the right mind that they need to have to go at life with. Like, that's what I'm doing with these kids, man. But guess what? Guess what happened? Another morning I come in there and I said, nah. I come in there, right, and I say, and this is what you got to be disciplined about too, brothers. I come in there, I say, man, dang, man, I ran out of toothpaste, so let me use some of his toothpaste. So I go in the bathroom, and he brushes past me, right? He has the towel wrapped around his waist. His body's still kind of wet. He walking past, he about to go ahead and get dressed, and then he walking past, he got his head high, his chest out. I'm like, yeah, you regulating yourself, son, no doubt, good stuff, man. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I'm about to go ahead and get dressed, man. I'm just doing my thing, man. You know, I said, no doubt. I said, let me get some toothpaste real quick. So I go in there and get the toothpaste, and then out the corner of my eye, I say, man, what the heck is going on? And I look at the corner of my eye, I see in the tub, and I see in the corner of the tub, I say, man, hold up. Man, that's that brother Rag. So I see the brother Rag, and that puppy was like this, balled up. But that puppy bone dry. So I said, man, why is that Rag bone dry? And he just got out the shower, and he was in here for about 15 minutes. So I started to look a little bit further. I look in the other corner of the tub, and I say, man, dang. I said, hold up. I said, man, look at the soap. The soap is stuck to the corner of the tub. There's no suds on it. It's bone dry, too. The soap is dry. The soap is dry. The rag is dry, bone dry. And this brother coming out the shower, he was in there for 15 minutes. I said, hold up.
They started.
Okay, we got about 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll just go see how long.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's it. We wrapping it up. Yeah, so I'm like, man, dang, the rag is dry and the dang on soap is dry. And I'm like, man, this brother ain't been washing up while he in the shower. He just been allowing the water to run on his body like, regulating myself, and getting up out the shower like that. Boys is crazy. I'm telling you, like, boys is crazy, man. I say, man, why would you take the time to just get in the shower and just let the water run on your body like this? This is crazy. So I'm like, he don't know that I know. So I come out of the bathroom and I say, this brother ain't been using no dang on soap and water. All of this time I'm thinking this brother in the shower getting it in, and this brother ain't been using no soap and water. So I asked this brother, I said, hey, son, let me talk to you for a minute. He said, what's up, Dad, man? You know, I'm regulating myself. I say, no doubt, no doubt. I say, son, man, I'm gonna ask you this, man, straight up. I say, man, do you use soap and water, man, when you get in the shower? And he looks at me and he says, remember I said he was like this? He's like,
deflates.
He's like, nah, Dad. I say, no. I said, man, I said, why not, son? He says, straight up, straight answer. And he looks up, he says, because it take too long. I said,
You just spent 15 minutes in there?
right. He said it take too long. I said, okay. So now, pause right there, brothers. I'm going to ask you, what's a way that your parents might have would have came at you? Knowing that because you had to get back in the shower, they probably going to have to take you to school because you're going to be late.
Well, if you don't get your ass,
Yo, dirty ass, you just standing in the water.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and give it to me. Tell me exactly what they going to say.
My mama would have came in here, and she would have noticed. If she would have seen a soap like that, she'd be like, come here. She would say my government name. She'd be like, come here. What's that? I'm like, so, why the hell is it dry? You ain't wash your motherfucking ass. Get your dirty ass back in the shower. Bitch would have told my dad. Then my dad probably would have came here and said some shit. Oh man, I wouldn't hear the last of that shit. I could just imagine my mom saying some shit like that right now.
Good. I want y'all to take a hold of that because this is the discipline that we got to have when we parenting, brothers, because this can help develop the type of individuals that they're going to be, and it's also going to be able to protect the relationship. Remember, we want to have a positive relationship, right? So I'm going to ask you, what was the right thing that my son did in that situation?
Being honest.
He was being honest. He didn't have to tell me the truth. He didn't know if I knew or not. He was being honest, right? So then that's a positive that I could have went on ahead and focused on. I could have told him about that. What's another positive that he did? Did he get up?
Yeah, he got up.
He got up on his own, right? He still did get in the shower, right? He still is getting dressed on his own, right? He still is making it to the bus, right?
Right.
What is he missing? The soap. So I'm going to ask y'all this. How can I go ahead and just eliminate all of the positive and just focus on the negative?
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
I'm not saying don't address the negative. I'm saying address the positive as well. How do you feel when somebody just telling you about all of the wrong in you and they're not telling you about the right in you? You thinking that only thing that you see is what's wrong in me, and I don't really like you because you just see the wrong in me. And not only that, but if only thing that you see is the wrong in me, I'm going to only start to see the wrong in me. And it's going to break my confidence because I'm going to feel like, man, I can't get right. I can't do right, right? Like I'm always messed up. And that's not the truth. The truth is that he did do right. So it is my responsibility to tell him about the right before I tell him about the wrong. So now in my parenting, what do I got to do? I got to let him know about the right that he did before I tell him about the wrong. So now the way that I approach the conversation is this. Son, man, you getting up on your own and doing all of that stuff. You getting in the shower, you getting on the bus, man, that's a beautiful thing. You regulating yourself on that. That's a beautiful thing. Not only that, but you told me the truth. People tell lies to try to get away from the consequences. And even though you got to get back in the shower, you still was willing to tell me the truth. That's a beautiful thing. This is what I did before I even came in with the negative, brothers. Because now that's putting them in a space to do what? Receive the negative. People will receive the negative if you give them the positive first.
They make it into a positive.
Thank y'all for.
You don't have the right. You don't. This brother sound like a newscaster. Right. You don't have the right to give the person the negative if you're not willing to give them the positive.
Live feed with Carlos Christian. Till the next time.
I had that same situation because I'll run a tub and I'll splash the water. But see, my grandmother, she come up there and she caught me and she asked me how much water did I use. Then she went and got the water bill.
Right.
You want to waste my water.
Right.
So you gonna pay for it.
Absolutely. But this is what I want y'all brothers to really take that into consideration, man. And this is where it's going to another level. This is like parenting on steroids, right? Like when we literally are saying, man, I'm going to tell you about the right, and then I'm going to tell you about the wrong. So I told him about the right, and then I said, but son, man, you can't, man, like when you don't use soap, man, stuff is going to grow out the crevices of your body that you don't want. Man, that's how you get funguses. And it's funny that he had got athlete's feet a little bit after that. So I was able to say, bro, this is why. You know, but I told him, I said, man, but bro, I'm gonna need you to get back in the shower, man, and you ain't gonna be able to play the game this morning because you got to get back in the shower, man. You know, so I told him about the negative, I addressed it, and then I sandwiched it with the positive again. I reiterated. But after you go ahead and tie in the soap and everything, man, you're gonna be golden, man. Like you're gonna be batting 1,000, man. You're gonna be doing everything in the 4th grade. That's a beautiful thing, son. Keep on doing what you're doing. Go ahead and get in the shower, and I'm gonna holler at you as soon as you get done so I can take you to school. It changed the dynamics of that conversation because he started to feel good about himself, right? Because it was like, I still did some right. Yeah, I did some wrong, but I still did some right too. And that changed the game, right? And you got to be careful with that because if I just tell you about the wrong, guess how you going to be when you get older? Only thing, you only going to respond to the wrong. You know, people, they just look for what's wrong in situations and they never look for what's right in situations. And because you look for what's wrong in situations, guess what you'll always find? The wrong. And that's how your life be the way that it is. Because your mind is set up like that. Because when you were younger, your parents made you look at just the wrong. They highlighted the wrong. So they made the wrong be the most important. And because the wrong is the most important, you're not satisfied until you find it. It can be a whole lot of right in situations. And you saying, man, well, what's wrong with it? Everything can be going right in your life and you be like, something wrong about to happen. Where is that? And then you'll find it. Because your mind is set up that way. So that's why we want to make sure that we show our children the right, so then when they grow up and become adults, they can look for what's right in situations. And their situations can turn positive because they are able to obtain the right. Mm-hmm. It's not saying the wrong ain't there, it's just saying the right is too. Sure. Right? All right, brothers, man. We got through some content, man. Good stuff, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
I got the tag.
Okay. All right. I'm gone. I got to get to this thing on Brown's game, man. I got an hour and a half. Ain't no doubt. Absolutely, man. I got to get to
my parents used to always be like, man, if you lie, you're going to make it worse.
Right. All right, brother. See y'all Saturday, brothers. Next Saturday. All right, brother. Saturday. Hey, brothers, I'm going to tell y'all again, don't make me come into y'all dang on dorm, man. Come on, man. Don't make me come into y'all dorm, man. Come on. All right, brother.
I still got your business card, man.
Absolutely, man.
I don't know. I said I was going to look you up when I got out. You here.
Whew.